to the nice chat. Everyone wave. There we go. Okay, everyone can in theory hear us now. We'll get confirmation on that. All I was saying was welcome to the British and Irish Pro League Season 3. We're delighted to have you joining us back for it, and we're delighted to be back as well. The lovely thing about the league format is we have a little bit of continuity. We have some storylines already going from the previous seasons, and we're going to start things off this season with seeding, starting very shortly. But before we do, I'm going to introduce alongside me Orion, coming back for some more broadcasts. Orion, how are you feeling about this one?
Hello, yeah, feeling very good about this one. Excited to be back in BIPL season. It's been a little while since season 2. We did have the Beacon World League in the British off season, but here we are again, back in league format. And we'd usually be seeing two of the main protagonists going up against each other, and one of them is actually sat next to me, not playing this BIPL. Epos, welcome.
Yeah, hi. It's a strange feeling, right? Because like you said, I'm usually there trying to battle it out for the win. But I mean, there's just so much on at the moment. But I'm gassed to watch some good Trackmania. And I think it's going to be quite a fight for Div 1. So yeah, it's going to be good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is worth noting then that there are 8 players already qualified for Div 1. So we're going to be diving into seeding in a minute, seeing who else fills out those other 8 spaces up for grabs in Div 1 and see who else slots into Div 2 then. But the players already qualified for Division 1, Bozbez, Wizzy, Hendo, Akros, Babs, Floyd, Jaffa Padawan, and then I believe it was Shawnee Wolf who gained promotion by winning Season 2 of Division 2 of Season 2 and making his way up into Div 1 that way. So some pretty strong names up there. They're sitting pretty at the moment. They get to watch seeding. I'm sure at least a few of them are probably in Twitch chat ready to heckle the players as they watch what's going on these seeding maps. But we are excited to get ready to get into seeding as well. 3 maps for seeding, and then from there we will be watching round 1 of the competition this evening. Before we get into that then, I'm going to ask Epos, have you seen the maps? Have you played the maps? Have you looked at the maps at all? Or are you just fully disconnected from Season 3 while you prep for other competitions?
No, I've seen the maps and I've played one of them as well. I played the draw day map, which I think is called Drowsy, and yeah, it seemed pretty good. It seemed like all the maps were really, really good, but I have a good idea of what sort of pace people should drive, shouldn't drive, and yeah, we'll see how it pans out in seeding. But yeah, I have some high hopes for the closer friends of mine, and hopefully they can do good. I'm going to be a little biased, but that's okay for now.
That's the British-Irish Trackmania way, I think, isn't it? Like a little bit of, just like a little bit of bias. Just some
a little
friendly
spice of bias, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we do have our classic barometer as well, right, Orion, on whether or not these maps are good, because Bozbez has decided that he's going to play them. And as we all know, Bozbez famously has often said that he won't play a competition if he doesn't like the map pool.
Yeah, I was convinced that Boz wasn't actually playing this BIPL. Is that right? Is he just playing seeding and then not playing the rest? Can someone fill me in on that?
No, Boz is playing.
Okay. I thought both you and Boz weren't playing this season because you were teaming up for some kind of competition, but that might be old news. But regardless of that, in terms of players that are doing seeding, just a recap, the way that seeding is going to work, all the players have been grinding these maps for the past week, I believe. And that counts for 30% of their total kind of seeding score. And now we're about to get into some rounds, which will then count for 70% of the total seeding score. Do we have a leaderboard graphic for current standings? Okay, I'll just read it out then. So currently, first place on the time attack is Josh, who had a shaky Div 1 in BIPL Season 2, but has honestly come on leaps and bounds since we do go into the seeding. Second, Nobody. Then Leo, Nioruku, Sox, Matt T, Matt P, and Divinio are your current top 8. And I believe it's top 8 from seeding go into Div 1, so we'll be keeping an eye on those players specifically.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's some more mats to be done behind the scene as well. Players are going to be driving rounds throughout the course of this seeding event. Your best time on any of the maps will give you the most points, and then you get more points for your second best time. So you want to be driving consistently as well, is really what it's worth noting here. This is not pure time attack. This is a rounds format, but you are rewarded for pushing and going as fast as possible without just looking for consistency. It's a little bit of a unique format, I think. I mean, Epos, you've obviously driven this kind of format now a couple of times across BIPL and Beacon. How did you find your experience of this kind of seeding format?
I felt like it suited me quite well, to be honest, because I mean, it rewards not just the pace from the time attack, but the consistency as well from the rounds as well. As we see Josh drive 2/10 behind the world record. Pretty solid start from him. So yeah, Josh is actually one of the people that I'm looking towards that will do really, really well in this, because it seems on every map he's got a sick time. And I mean, you saw him Beacon, he did pretty well in Div 2. So I've got pretty high hopes for him. But nah, I think the seeding format is really, really good. It's really balanced for people who want to push and for people who want to, play it a little bit safe.
I've got questions for you both on the pronunciation of this map, because what Mime has done is added an accent to the first E in knee. And I mean, listen, as we all know, there are multiple languages in Europe, and that accent depends on which language it's coming from, right?
I mean, if you take it as it usually is, it turns the E into more of an A sound, right? Like
the French pronunciation,
manger, right? So that would be like, oh god, I'm gonna butcher this.
Nena.
Nena, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with the.
But
the
if
British,
you use
like,
the
ambulance.
Irish pronunciation,
Oh, God.
and you use it as a fodder, then it elongates the vowel sound, and it does become fully just a Nina. And Nina is also a town in Ireland, so honestly, I'm just saying, look, there's some options there. Josh drives a 1 minute point 3. Josh is very, very quick right now.
Yeah. Josh has been, like, he's more known as of right now for being an incredible full speed player, one of the best in the world, but he has been up and coming in competitive Trackmania as well. Like, we saw him in Div 2 in Div 1 in last BIPL, but didn't really make much of an impact. You can see that he has been grinding. Like, players like Leo, for example, who I believe was top 8 Div 1 last time out. And Josh was way down the bottom of the table. The fact that he's consistently in front of players like that really shows that the grind that he's been on and the improvement that he's put in. So yeah, Josh definitely one to watch. Seems like a surefire bet for Div 1. But we'll see behind him who is able to make it. And we'll probably be wanting to look at the 8th, 9th position as the rounds go on, just to see who kind of is right on that cutoff.
Yeah, right now, Leo and Matt kind of down around those positions. Some names that I think people recognize. Niroku also a little bit lower down the leaderboard in that position. Some other very good players. I mean, I don't know if you're looking at the seeding spreadsheet at the moment.
Yep,
there, Epos as well. I was asking Epos. There's more than just you here, Orion. Epos, are you looking at the seeding spreadsheet before Orion cut you off?
I'm actually not. I have no idea where it is. So I'm just kind of going off of nothing.
Twitch chat, talk amongst yourselves as I send this over to Epos.
Nah, but Josh looks solid, man. Usually the thing that lacks in his department is consistency, but you've seen he's done 3 rounds in a row, and he's looking pretty fast, man.
Yeah.
Really fast.
8 rounds per map in seeding for a total of 24 rounds, and I think he's finished. We've had 3 so far, and he's got 2 firsts and a second, maybe.
I think he's had 3 firsts. No,
okay. I saw nobody in front of him. He must have overtaken him.
He did.
Yeah, he is currently first on the cutoff at the moment. We have OC with Steg Divino just behind. I was noticing that Hendo was quite far down, but. Oh, it's not Hendo. Okay, fine.
Fake Hendo.
That explains that. Fake Hendo.
Yeah. There are definitely some players who I'm maybe not massively surprised, but I mean, Burnt Bagels, for example, I think had a very good run in Beacon at times as well. Currently sitting pretty far down the leaderboard. Now we're only a few rounds in, so maybe not that shocking that players are still looking to find their footing in this one, but there's plenty of room to do it. Josh will pick up another round win. Now he has slowed down a little bit after those blisteringly fast first 2 rounds, but only by a couple of tenths. Still continuing to set incredibly quick times and looking very, very strong at the moment. With that said, he's not massively pulled away from nobody, who up until now is sitting about 100 points behind him with the way that seeding works. Just trust me when I say that's very close. And in fact, nobody will remain still very close behind Josh. So while Josh is putting up a massive performance, I think we do have to highlight that nobody's doing a great job just behind as well.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, this is how the seeding format should be played. You should just be banging in the rounds over and over. And it looks like the 2 that are doing that at the moment is Josh and Nobody, as Nobody goes into the wall. That's my first curse of the caster. Thank you very much. But nah, it's the way the format should be played. You should just play your rounds, make sure you get around the map well enough, and you're going to seed into Div 1 comfy as you can.
That's the way to go. Divino, currently a little bit in the hot seat. Davinci trying to catch back up, but currently outside that spot, and I'm not sure where he is on track at the moment, but I'm not sure I see him in that group that's in front of nobody there, so potentially looking at another round that might be a little bit slower than he'd like.
I think he might be in the other server, I want to say.
No, he's in this server.
Is he in this one? Oh, okay.
He has not completed a round yet.
Servers. Well, that'll do it as well, won't it? That's it's not ideal to not complete many rounds.
Yeah.
He's completed a round there, but he is, 8th place in that. And I think at this point you want to start to push a little bit further up the leaderboard than that if you want to start to gain back some time, because already the players at the very top, Josh, Nobody, Matt, are starting to pull a little bit ahead of the rest.
Yeah, I'm trying to just work out this spreadsheet, to be honest, because am I right in saying that the rank on the left-hand side is how they are at the moment? Like, that is their...
Yes.
I think it's current standing, yeah.
It is the current standing.
Okay, then I am right on that. So, yeah, Divino right now in 10th, needs to catch up to Steg and OC if he wants to have a chance of getting in. But, as we say, 24 rounds. We've only had, 5, 6 so far, I want to say. Or nobody with a clip, though. Josh still ultra consistent out front, but nobody's starting to make a few mistakes.
I've realized what my mistake was I was looking specifically at the seeding on Nina rather than the overall, which doesn't take into account the fact that, we've already had time attack. So, yep, fair point. That's on me. Divino is doing slightly better than his included time attack results were. So he is, I don't know, I guess overperforming so far based on where he started the evening off, but not doing great on that round either. And that's a rough round for Nobody too, who drops a long way down the order in that particular round. We'll see how he gets on from here. We do start off, I think we're, probably 6 rounds in at this point. We've driven, this is round 7 starting off on Nina. So a couple of rounds left. Still time for someone to bang in an absolute worldie of a time. Josh has been driving quickly. Can he maybe challenge that world record even closer in this next round? It'll be tough, and I don't think he necessarily needs it. He's sitting pretty comfortable at the moment. I think just continuing to drive consistent, get out of Nina, feeling good about yourself. Nina? I'm going to go with the French pronunciation. Get out of Nina, feeling good, and feeling fast for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, that world record is a 60.2 flat by Bosbez. I think he drove a 0.3 on his either 3rd or 2nd round.
I think he might be on the wrong map. I'm pretty sure the world record here is a 0.2. Sorry to cut you off
that's
on
what
that
I said.
one.
That's what I said, right? I
you
said
0.6,
no, he said 60.2.
60.2
words.
Yeah, there we go.
Now, we'll blame Orion for that one. He did use a very odd format for 1 minute, 0.2, and it is 60 seconds.
Yeah,
but...
I'm just reading off the...
my bad.
Page. Yeah.
I mean, that was another...
Josh,
that was a 60.4. So again, Josh looked real quick. Isn't this dude meant to be a full speed player? What's going on?
Yeah, he's been making the transfer, man. He's been getting better and better. Every single time I see him do a comp, he just gets closer and closer to the mark, and it's even scary for someone like me and Boz. I think I've seen Boz in the chat a little bit, quaking the boots, but yeah, I'd be a little bit scared of this as well, because he's pretty good, man. He's fast. He's very fast.
Am I right in saying that he's quite young as well?
Yeah, I think Josh is like 16.
Yeah, exactly, which is like huge potential.
Yeah,
oh my god, game sound.
Yeah, this is nice.
Whoa, this is crazy. I hope streams had game sound, and that's just been added to us for the first time. But hey, we've got game sound now as well, and that's lovely. We didn't have to call out production like this, but we have. I do notice people in chat pointing out that Wizzy maybe is the player to get a little bit scared at the moment, and that is because whoever qualifies first in seeding this evening will be 9th overall in Division 1 in terms of seeding, because the 8 players are already there, or 1 to 8, and will play Wizzy and Jaffa Padawan in their first match of the competition later on this evening. That's
going to be a crazy match.
It's going to be a good match. They're also going to be joined by whoever comes 3rd in seeding as well, so 11th in seeding overall in Division 1, so that's going to be a very stacked match later on this evening. What a way to start the tournament off that's going to be. And I think for Wizzy and Jaffa, I mean, you're coming in as the favorites. You are the pre-qualified players, but these other guys are going to be coming in as warmed up as it's possible to get on these maps.
Yeah, I mean, if it sticks to how it is now, it would be Wizzy, Jaffa, Josh, and Leo, which it looks like one of the best matches of the season is happening straight away, which is pretty, that's pretty crazy. And the fact that Josh is P1, man, I didn't put him as P1 on my prediction. I had him somewhere like fourth, but I'm so happy to see him doing good. Because, I mean, it's just the consistency, and he's banging it out. He's done, I think, one crash run out of the 8 there, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah,
I will.
mean,
It's
to
just
put in that kind of pace as well without crashing. Like you could tell that he was full pushing, but making it look effortless. Which, yeah, that's a sign of
Exactly.
a really top player.
Just a couple of things I've noticed while we're going through the leaderboard here. First of all, that was a little bit of a rough time for Leo, who is still sitting third overall in this seeding event, but definitely didn't do as great on the map. I think specifically on Nina there was actually 9th place out of the players playing on it.
Yep.
So looking to improve from here on out. And also just something to keep an eye out for when we get to Creel later on this evening. Josh and nobody have tied PBs on that map as far as I can tell, which is could be fun when we get there to see which of them manages to step it up. And I think nobody definitely still probably thinking like, yeah, I have a shot of catching up to Josh and maybe sniping away that 9th seed going into Division 1.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, so we're going to swap servers for the next round, which does mean we will be leaving that battle behind for the moment, going and seeing what's going on in the other server and how players are doing over there as well. Because, yeah, it's a double server setup where too many players can't fit them all in one server. It's issues, man. It's not our fault.
Having a look
going
at
on
the map rank, that is crazy to see that Matt T is rank 2 in the round server for, what is it? Nia? Did we go with Nia?
No, okay, we have confirmation from Mime, who has messaged into.
It's gotta be Nia.
He specifically said Nina.
Oh, it's Nina.
Like the name. Yeah. I also appreciate the way Mime said it, which is pretty sure it's like Nina. Like, he's not sure himself. I mean, Mime, you built the map. You're allowed to be sure how you want us to pronounce it, okay? We're going to go with Nina, but luckily we're also leaving Nina behind. We're heading into, I believe Drowsy will be the next map then of the evening, and I'm assuming we're going to Creel third then. So Drowsy should be an interesting one as well. Josh comes into the seeding event with the best rank out of anyone in seeding on all 3 maps, so look to see Josh continue that strength on it as well. But Leo definitely had a better time in time attack on Drowsy. Matt, who's doing very well at the moment as well, did not have a great time on Drowsy in particular, the 10th fastest player in time attack on that one. So I don't know, maybe this could be a moment where we need to see if Matt can step up and hold on to this top 8 spot, or if he's going to start to slip away from it as we drop through.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel, Epos, but like just doing map discovery today, by map discovery I mean watching the world records, this map looked to be the hardest out of the map pack, just because of maybe it doesn't flow as well, or it doesn't kind of fit into that box that we usually group like competitive maps into, kind of thing. It feels a bit more, what is the word, complicated, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's the most varied of the map pack for sure. Although difficult, I think Creel, maybe? I think they're all pretty even on the difficulty department, but I think for sure the Jordan map here is definitely one of the most varied, because you have to push the dirt, you have to push the tech, you have to push the grass reactor at the end. There's like time to gain absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the one of the few maps that I actually did discover a little bit. I played maybe for half an hour, give or take. And it's trickier than it looks. I mean, especially this section here with the plastic into the dirt. You can easily make a mistake that crashes you out, or you can just lose a lot of time here. So, I mean, we'll see the people who've actually done the training and put the time into the rounds practice, because I'm sure we'll see a lot of mistakes there.
What I'm hearing is Jordan asked what type of map he was building, and someone started to say mixed comp, and Jordan just tuned out after the first word. He just got the mixed part and focused heavily on that.
It's good mixed comp. It's a nice map.
It's a really cool map. It's
absolutely,
a lot going on.
Yeah, which is fun. As we see the finish for the first time, Sox got sniped by Killian at the line, and we will take the second to call out Sox's club tag there as well, because Heart BIPL in a lovely shade of pink. You know, I mean, I think we got to appreciate that, right?
Yeah, Sox is another player that I am kind of looking at to potentially get into Div 1. Also, another player similar to Josh, but not quite the same meteoric rise. Has been kind of on a slow burn of improvement for quite some time. I think he was Division 2 in last BIPL, or perhaps didn't even feature. But I'm seeing him a lot in Div 1 Cup of the Days. Haven't really seen his tournament progress. But definitely one to watch out for. A dark horse for sure. OC as well is on the cusp at the moment, currently in 8th place overall. So another one to watch. Possibly Sox and OC from this server. It doesn't seem quite as stacked with the big names on this server. As I say, that OC fails to make the ramp, and that is his first big mistake since we've been watching him.
It turns out I should not have highlighted that Sox is not wearing the club tag because, I don't know, a little bit of drama there. The fact he's not wearing the Molotov team tag. Day 542, Bytam says in chat, of Sox not wearing the club tag. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure he's very proud to be a member of Molotov Gaming, and he's doing well. All right, there's another second place, at least on this server. And looking quick, that was a very good round by Octo Abs. Unless anyone wants to correct my pronunciation on Octo's name. That was quick.
Octoab sounds about right to me. But yeah, I'll be honest, I expected a little quicker here. I saw the round server that people were doing publicly, and I saw a lot of the 103 lows, a lot of the 103 mids, but it seems like people are just getting pretty consistent times, and that's what they're focusing on here. Unlike the last map where we saw blistering times from quite a lot of people.
I could be... Well, I say that Octoabs had a very good round in that last round, but it doesn't seem to have been counted on the scoring spreadsheet. So maybe missed the checkpoint along the way, went for a cut somewhere, and that's why he was ahead of Sox.
He definitely finished first, though, because it wouldn't have even put him into the finish.
Admins, we'll get on it. Apart from that, Sox, I mean, just to build, I was mostly going to build off the point that you were making there as well, Epos, which is that, nobody's really hitting those mid 63s, low 63s. Over on the other server, Niroku is getting a mid 63, kind of got a 63.7. Josh does have the fastest time currently of anyone in seeding. In round 1, got a 63.1.
Yeah, that's fast.
But then went on in round 2 to get a 65.5. So maybe sometimes, the pushing shows in both the times and the lack of time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you're just not able to put in the time consistently, then it doesn't really mean that much. So maybe Josh should take the foot off the gas and, just get the round done. It's all that matters in the seeding format. Maybe when you're in a match and you're playing like a Bozbez, sure, put the gas up a little bit. You're gonna need it. But for now, just chillax. Have some tunes on. At least that's how I go about seeding. It's nice.
Yeah, I want to highlight OC, who has had 2 crashes in a row, and 2 big ones as well, has put him way down the order. Was in the top 8 during the first map, but is now 12th place overall. And is allowing some other players to come up through. So there's definitely kind of a disparity between players doing well on the first map and also doing well on this one. It's not a given, as we see Killian tap a wall there, but it's not going to waste too much time, provided he makes this jump, and does OC this time as well, making that jump onto the ramp. So fingers crossed, should have a slightly better round. Sox once again leads the field, and I think we saw from the in-game leaderboard as well that he has had the best run out of this server in the first map as well, right up the top there. And I think second was Killian, who we are on board with at the moment. So top 3 in this server looking like Sox, OC, Killian as things stand. But still a long way to go as Killian face plants the finish. Not how you want to end this map. That's going to cost him an extra 5 seconds or so. It was a good run up until that point. A bit of a shame.
Yeah, that's a bannable offense, crashing that pin. Not gonna lie.
We'll hold off actually banning anyone. Although, I mean, Killian may ban himself from Div 1 based on the performance so far. He is now sitting a little bit outside the top 8 on this map. Up until now, it was going pretty well. Unfortunately, it is now not going quite so well. Sitting in 9th place at least in the live rounds on this map. At the moment, he is right on that borderline, 8th place. Divino is the player chasing him down a little bit. And, I mean, you've got, again, some good names just behind there. Fake Hendo, OC is sitting just behind as well. Kozer, who I have to admit is a name I'm not as familiar with as well. Octoabs, who, you know, we might not know much about, but we've already seen set at least one very good time on the map here. So I wouldn't be feeling comfortable right now if I'm Killian, and those crashes aren't going to help.
Yeah, it's a real hot spot between the players. I mean, it's looking like between Nyaruko to roughly Koz's area is very, very close. It's, I don't know, it's very, very, it's just delicate, I suppose. You need to just get round, you need to finish. And I mean, I have a lot of bias towards Divino, good friend of mine, and seeing him just about take over the 8th place is really good, but I don't like seeing him in that hot spot. I expected to see him around the 4-5 mark, but he's around the 8-9 mark, and it's nervous times for me. It's very nervous times.
I'm going to take a second to give a bit of credit to Matt, who we said coming into this track was maybe not doing great on this track. And okay, I was going to give him credit and then the scoreboard updated. And so I'm not going to give him credit. He's actually managed to fall even a little bit further behind than where he was on the time attack. So this is getting scary for Matt, who is playing over in the other server at the moment, sitting 13th in map rank on Drowsy. Looking for a very strong finish, I think, on Creel at this point in order to secure the spot in top 8.
Yeah, Josh is looking to completely whitewash the seeding as well. He's currently first on this map over on the other server. Second on this map right now is Nyaruko, followed by Sox, who we're seeing in this server and we're on board with right now, has won the majority of rounds that we've had so far here. Then 4th place is actually Fake Hendo, who's also on this server, but is actually not even in the top 8 right now. So it just shows that a lot of players that maybe didn't have the best first map are having success here and vice versa.
Yeah, managing to pull it out when they need to, and it is interesting seeing that mix. That's a close battle between Killian and OC right up at the top. Half a second separates them, and I mean, maybe a positive thing about these seeding rounds, you know, that's not a loss for OC. That's still a very good time that you can be happy with. I'm sure it'd be nice to see the 10 points next to your name, but those points don't actually mean anything.
Yeah, it's a good thing in my opinion. I don't know, it should be based on the times rather than the position you come in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that do this position equals points and points equals seeding, and it's not good. The time way is so much better.
Yeah, especially in this where we have to split the players between multiple servers just to make sure that there's stability and everyone can do their best. Doing it purely on times makes things significantly fairer. It's not just a case of like, well, you know, I ran into Boz in seeding, and unfortunately that meant I couldn't do anything.
Exactly. Nah, I think the time seeding is really, really good. And it's always completely fair. It just depends how good you do.
Yeah. Can't blame anything except a skill issue. That's one of the nice things about Trackmania. I mean, it's about a lot of solo sports, but I think Trackmania really does exemplify it as well. Of like, it really just, you can't blame external factors. Like, short of my controller did actually die mid-round, like, there's very little you can say other than, yes, I just didn't really drive well enough in this round.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Rocket League 1v1. Super punishing. Super, super punishing. You can only blame yourself.
Listen, Rocket League 1v1, I'll find a way to blame something else. Don't worry about that, okay?
Yeah, lag. Yeah, dog jumped on my desk. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, other players clearly a smurf. Like, plenty to blame in that. Well, we are doing this, and you can say, I mean, the one thing that we can use the points for is to at least get a sense of how players are doing in these rounds, and you can see Sox is sitting at the top of that leaderboard, obviously doing incredibly well. Still sitting, has dropped a little bit in terms of overall map rank, down to 4th. I believe nobody has climbed up into 3rd place as we approach the end of our rounds on Drowsy. This is our final round on Drowsy, round 8 going on, and then we will be on to Creel for our final seeding map. But things looking still interesting near the middle of the leaderboard. Divino has managed to climb a little bit in the last couple of rounds, it has to be said. Yeah. It's looking much better now.
Yeah, my bias is very happy to see that. He got a pretty good time as well. He got a 0.2 on the map. But, I mean, fastest time so far, driven by Josh. 62.9. My God, that's fast. That's very fast.
World record is a 62.6 by Josh, correct?
Yeah, he should be fast as the world record holder, and he's keeping up with it. So, pretty impressive.
I mean, I think, again, just looking forward to that match later where whoever wins seeding here tonight goes on to play against Wizzy and against Jaffa Padawan is... I'm already looking forward. I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of it because I'm looking across a lot of the rest of the matches as well. And as we do wrap things up here on Drowsy and get ready for Creel, I'm getting a little bit of Beacon syndrome again as well, where I'm like, wow, that match is going to be really good. Wait a second, that match is also going to be really good. Hang on a second. All of these matches are going to be really good.
Yeah, I think it's really, really stacked. I mean, you can look at any match, and unless you've got a Boz in there, I think it's actually pretty tough to call who's going to win them. Because, I mean, I know Acros has trained a lot. I know that Josh clearly has trained a lot by how he's driving. And Boz is Boz, Wizzy is Wizzy. So you get a matchup where you cross one of these 4 players together, and, you know, you got a banger for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree with that one. Like, Josh at the moment feels like the player with the most momentum. You know, he's improved loads. He's playing the seeding as well, which obviously like Wizzy and Jaffa aren't unless they're just doing it for funsies. But Josh, like if he comes out of this seeding with, you know, God knows how many perfect rounds, knows that he can drive within 0.3 of his own world records consistently, that's huge for the mental. And he can go into those matches with the likes of Wizzy, Boz, Jaffa, knowing and being confident in himself that he can actually beat them. Whereas you flip the coin and you've got Wizzy looking at Josh going, this guy's quick. Like, I'm going to be under threat from him constantly. And, you know, it's the mental side of things, putting pressure on your opponents.
Yeah, I don't know who has a tougher job on the mental, to be honest, because you can go in as Josh and say, yeah, I've just done a pretty good seeding, or you can go in and think, oh, God, I'm against Wizzy. And vice versa, you can think as Wizzy, damn, this guy is fast, or let's wait till he enters the match.
Yeah.
I think there's a flip to every side.
I'm going to say this now, and just a word of warning to any of our players who are listening. If you find yourself sitting in a position to enter Div 1 as the 12th seed, and that does mean that you would in fact be the 8th seed in today's seeding event. Not the last player in, no, 6th seed. What am I stupid? 4th seed? Fourth seed, yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah. 4th seed in today's seeding event. Throw. Get out of that position. Drive better or drive worse. Get out of that position. Because 12th seed, I have just noticed, flicking through our upcoming matches, will in week 3 have to play in the match between Bozbez, Wizzy, and Babs. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, for me, that's not a spot you want to be in week 3.
Yeah, avoid P4. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. That's ideal. Currently sitting in P4, we do in fact have Socks. So I don't know, Socks. There's work to be done there. We'll see whether or not Socks can do it, but we won't see it on this. We have jumped back to the server that we started off on, as we are going to watch potentially Josh dominate the field for another 8 rounds and walk out of seeding unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has had pretty much 2 perfect maps at this point. It almost feels like a victory lap, even with potentially poor performance on this map. I think he has done enough now to make it, well, definitely done enough to make it to Div 1, that is for sure. Possibly even done enough to make it into like the top 3 or 4, but you see him streaking out in front again, followed closely by Nobody. Leo into a pole there, that's a big mistake. We're going to go on board with Nobody, who is just edging out a lead over Josh, 3/10 as we cross the 50-second mark. 10 seconds left to go. Josh is mid-pack right now. Everyone going to make the finish? Yes, they are. Get through that hole nice and cleanly. Nobody in first with a 57.1. What kind of time is that? That is currently... That was 7/10 off world record. So, not insane pace. I imagine that Josh will probably want to push it a bit further, given his PB is a 56.6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we might see some faster times yet on this map.
Hotspot right now, by the way. Leo in 8th is looking pretty scary for Leo at the moment. He's just on the cusp of being Div 1 or Div 2, so he's definitely got to pull up a good performance here. Wait. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Wait, he's out of the hotspot, sorry.
Oh yeah, because the other server updates. Yeah. So the other server is updating at the same time. I noticed that on the previous map because I said that Sox was map rank 4, and then I looked about 30 seconds later and he was down in 12th. I was like, oh, okay, so the other server is like flip-flopping with this one.
Yeah. With part of the issue being that it's staggered as well, and people have a default very high time. So if one map has finished a round ahead of the other one, then everyone just jumps up a bunch of places. Yeah, look, it's fine. It'll all work itself out at the end. Hendo's crashed the finish. It's not actually Hendo, but it is definitely a real crash, and is just 3-point turning into that pillar over and over again. We'll eventually get across the line, though.
Surely would it have been quicker for him to respawn there? How far back is the CP?
I think if you just nail the first 3-point turn, you're fine.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe.
He did do about 5 of them.
That's how you fail your driving test in one easy go. Having a glance through then as well. First of all, I got stun locked for a second because I was trying to look up what the word creel actually meant, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a real word. And it is. It's a basket for holding fish. So there's something fishy about this map, and it's not just the name, is a joke that you can expect to hear in future weeks. Right now, Josh, nothing fishy about his driving, looking pretty quick through here.
Yeah, not as quick as Niharuku, though, who is on absolute blinder here. Josh was a little bit slower through the reactor section, does look to be catching up through the tech and grass, though. Nice low line there, almost clipping a wheel, but yeah, you can see just how well he's pushing. Overtakes Niharuku for first, was about 3/10 down at one point. So yeah, you can see on like the classic mixed style, Josh is supreme right now. Yeah,
for sure. Takes away an easy first for himself and doesn't even have to go blisteringly quick for it.
Yeah, 4/10 off his PB in that one. I believe PB of about 56.6 for Josh, so not too far off it, but a little ways off it. And I mean, again, that's kind of the mark he's been hitting all evening long. 2/10 to 4/10 behind PB, and it just so happens that occasionally that PB is also world record, right?
Yeah. I think he has world record on... I'm checking... He has world record on Drowsy. Yeah. But not Creel. World record on Creel is a 56.428 from Boss.
Yeah, which is quick. It has to be said. It has been pointed out in Twitch chat that OC currently in the process of being saved by Creel over on the other server, and I think that's fair. With an 8th place and then a 9th place in seeding overall on the previous 2 maps on Nina and Drowsy, currently sitting with a 3rd place on Creel and looking much better, so well out of the danger zone. The unfortunate side effect of that is obviously some players have to go down whenever someone goes up, and nobody who started the evening so strongly on this server back on Nina is currently sitting just outside of those top 8 seeding positions to get into Div 1. And that's Josh will snipe out as by 24 thousandths of a second, rather, I should say. Matt not quite able to win that round. But again, it's a great time for Matt, and you walk away happy from that.
Yeah, you mentioned nobody there, not even top 10 in that round. Having a bit of a stinker on this one, only 13 points so far. It's going to have to really pull it together for the remaining 5 rounds, I believe, if he wants to actually make it through. And it would be a disappointment because you said he had such a great performance on Nina. So for him to fall to Creel and tumble down the order like he is, yeah, that would be a big loss.
Could happen. Still a little bit of time. Still a few rounds yet to go on Creel. We are about halfway through the map. 4 rounds played for both servers, and still a lot can change between now and then if someone can really pick up the pace and pick up the consistency. I mean, for Josh, even with a touch there, I'm not convinced much is going to change. I think he's built himself up enough of a buffer at this point that he can afford a couple of mistakes here and there. I do believe that he has to lose... What is that? Like about... He needs to lose a few seconds. 10 seconds? 100 seconds? I don't know. He needs to lose a decent amount to Niharuku to lose the top spot in seeding at the moment. Probably not going to happen for the moment. You know, Foxy will crawl across the line there. Better round from Divino. Nobody nowhere to be seen in our top 8, though, and is running out of rounds. For as much as there is still a few left, really needs to get a good result soon and start to get a few good results soon as well.
Yeah, he does. But someone who's happy at the moment is Matt. He seems to be Matty. He's just doing pretty good. I mean, he was looking in that the little bit of the danger zone throughout the thing, but I mean, he's just doing good. He's doing good enough every single round, and he even picked up a first that one. So I think he'll be feeling pretty comfy going into this last couple of rounds.
Yeah. What are we calling a good rounds time here on Creel? A low 57 to me feels like it'd be a reasonable thing to say.
As of right now,
56.
Yeah,
like
probably
a very
56.
decent, yeah, like a very decent time is definitely you need to be getting down into the 56s. But I think in general here in our seeding, just sticking it in the low 57s as often as possible is feeling solid.
Yeah, 100%. It's a guaranteed Div 1. If you can do it every single round and do a 57 flat, give or take, then yeah, you're relaxed.
Feeling pretty good about that.
Snipe from Neil.
Goodbye, Josh.
Yeah, we are. Bye, Josh. I think he's still actually... Yeah, he managed to make it in, like, only 0.7 after Nioroku, so didn't full die. But yeah, threw away a victory for sure.
Just to be clear on how well Josh has done across the rest of the seeding so far, we have, I believe, just, 2 rounds left now, and he needs to lose... And he needs to lose 2 seconds off of his average on this track in the next 2 rounds in order to not be first in seeding. Which is, like, hey, a couple of massive crashes could do it, but given that it's, only 25% of the rounds that we're playing on this track, both of those crashes need to send him, like, well over 10 seconds down the order. There's the first.
Oh, there's one.
So,
Bye,
I mean,
Josh.
hey. Could happen yet. Josh could not be first in seeding by the end of this, but it's going to take a miracle. Like, I don't think he's even far enough behind in this round for it to even get close.
Yeah, it won't get close. He has such a margin to play with. I think he's fine. Doesn't matter if he spends the rest of his time just completely failing every corner.
Seeing a strong round for Leo here, though, who is currently right on the drop zone, 8th place.
Yeah.
Makes it in first. Good round for Matt P as well, currently in 6th. Nobody in 4th, and Divino in 3rd there. All players literally right on the bubble. Nioroku currently 7th, Leo 8th, Nobody 9th, Divino 10th. So they are all trying their absolute hardest to get up there right now. And there's 1 round left.
So tense. You need to put in a good round. You need a good round. If you are Divino, you're Nioroku, who died right at the start, is the question. Well, we'll find out when they don't show up at the finish line, is the answer. I do see Divino still alive. I see Nioroku still alive as well. Burnt Bagel, not so much, bouncing around the track, and unfortunately, I think is going to end up in Div 2 for the duration of Season 3. But some of the players who need a good round, Nobody, I think, is included in that list as well, starting off strongly here in our final round.
Well, Josh out in front again. We see a touch, though, from Divino. Matt P pushing as well. Currently 8th place as we go into the final round. Just behind him is Steg. Then we have Nobody, Nioroku. Gaps between players are currently about 1/10 of a second, but we've still got a good 15 seconds of the map left to go. Josh rounds the final corner. See if everyone makes the finish cleanly. Josh does this time. Matt P in, Steg, Nobody, Nioroku, New-Eyed Coops, Divino all in. Leo nowhere to be seen though, so he might end up dropping out.
I think that's the end of the road for Divino. I think he is confirmed out because of that. He needed a good run there, and he is done.
Yeah, we'll hang on and see. Results coming through on Google Sheets, and we'll wait until I'm sure that everything is finished updating. I believe the other server is still just finishing up its final runs on that one as well. We can confirm that for sure Josh is at the very top, and I think, look, before we talk about anything else, let's talk about how impressive Josh has been throughout seeding here. I mean, time attacks, obviously incredible as well. Managed to set a couple of world records, was not far off it on the 3rd map too, but here in rounds as well, I mean, Josh really stepped up.
Yeah, 100%. Josh has played so well throughout the entire seeding, and I'm sure he's absolutely scared the life out of Wizzy, who he'll be facing in the next match. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see how that one turns out. I could actually put my money quite comfortably on Josh, I think. If I was a betting man, I'd actually put it on Josh. He looks really, really comfortable, man. He looks fast. Looks very
fast. The fact
fast.
that Josh has just jumped into Twitch chat to get very nervous about the fact that he immediately has to face Wizzy change your mind at all?
Nah, I mean, if he just needs to keep calm and collected, he knows he's performed well. If he just replicates the same thing, he is completely fine. And unless the sheet is bugging, I think Davino is actually safe. So my
Yeah, I think he
bias
Yeah.
is pretty. I think I'm having a good night now. I thought I was gonna have a bad night, but he's in. Bias is
Yeah.
kicking in. I'm happy.
Well, you have been. Production is begging us to hold off confirming or denying anything until they are sure themselves that everything is working out and whether when we can actually show you guys what's going on. Other players that I do want to, though, not necessarily talk about too much, but there are a couple of players who we know have ended up a decently long way up or down the leaderboard. And I think based on what's happened there, Ryan, Burnt Bagels probably not going to be making it into our top 8 of seeding players here as well, which I think is a little bit of a shame because I was very impressed with Burnt Bagels at various times throughout Beacon as well.
Yep, not a player that I really had on my radar, but yeah, if you said he was performing in Beacon and hasn't done so well here, obviously a disappointment for him. Can we talk about leaderboard yet?
Thomas, let us talk about things. Why are we here?
Can I just clarify? Did I hear you say bagels in Beacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said he played Beacon, right, Noah? I was just going off what you said.
Did Bagels not play in Beacon? Who am I?
No.
Was it Bagels? Oh, I'm losing my mind. Don't mind me then. Was it Bagels? Okay, saved by the scoreboard. Everyone ignore it. Here's what Division 1 looks like in seeding order. Bozbez and Wizzy at the top, but it's important to look a little bit further down. Our 8 players from seeding, and it is a sea of English flags from Josh on down. Nobody managing to qualify in 9th place. Niroku in 10th. Matt T in 11th. And Sox does, in fact, pick up that 12th place that we were saying. It might be, or no, Matt T is in the 12th place. Can I not count? Somebody take this microphone away from me. It's not going well.
Well, despite that last round howler, Leo has made it as well. And in the final position, Matt P. So the 2 Matts make it into Div 1. Josh and Nobody. Even though Nobody didn't have the best last map, I feel like the performance on Nina and Drowsy were enough to carry him through. Yeah, definitely. He had map rank 3 on Nina, map rank 2 on Drowsy, and then 11th on Creel. So fell off towards the end, but still overall maintains that 2nd place in seeding.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Now, don't mind me. I'm just stunlocked by my own ability to think tonight. But that's going fine nonetheless. And we are set up now for some pretty entertaining matches, of course. We're not just playing Division 1 in the British Irish Pro League Season 3. We will also have Division 2, those top 16 players who are not the very top 16 players. So places 17 down to 32, of which OC tops the list, just missing out on Division 1 at the very end there. How close did that end up being? And the answer is very close. A difference of kind of an average across all the maps of maybe 20 thousandths or so back from Matt P, which is, it's not
That's
a huge
sad.
amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it
Yeah,
goes, though. I mean, none of the gaps on this leaderboard are very big.
Yeah. It's kind of sad
Apart
for
from
OC.
the one at the front. Look at that gap.
Yeah, Josh did crush. Josh was very, very, very good in seeding. And I think we knew that.
That's insane.
I am just... Sorry, I'm going to figure this out later. I don't want to call anything into doubt. I am looking at Leo's total score actually being lower than Divino's according to the scoreboard, but chat can't see that. Nobody else can. So someone will tell me why that's happened in a little bit. Either way, both of them are in Division 1, and we'll see exactly what happens on that one.
Sorry, is it done on average? It's done on average, right? Not total score.
Average map.
Yeah, okay. You're correct. It just happens that everyone else's total score goes in that order. So that's interesting. Yes, it is their average map order. So that's interesting. I mean, I think just goes to show how close these players are, that there really isn't a huge amount separating them in general. But yeah, I mean, OC was very close, I think, to overtaking Matt P. Killian was not that far behind them again as well. I don't know. Anyone else? I mentioned burnt bagels. I think it was probably back in BIPL season 2 that I was getting very impressed with bagels. And not. See, I just remember talking about bagels specifically because it was bagels versus someone else, and there was a whole breakfast theme going on, and we talked about breakfast a lot.
Wasn't it that
it was
had
eggy.
like a heroic run where he survived like
also,
so many rounds in a row? Yeah.
Bagels and Eggy were also in a match together, and if I'm being honest, that's the thing that really stuck out to me. Epos, I feel like we probably got you on for an interview at some point that night as well, and because we were asking all of our interviewees what their favorite breakfast food was.
Yeah, I can't even remember what my answer was at that point, but it's got to be an English brekkie, right? That's got to be the answer that I said. If I didn't, then I'm completely wrong. Like past Epos just has negative opinions on life.
Yeah. So yeah, looking down the scoreboard, I mean, obviously Div 2 is going to be exciting. Bagels did finish just in front of Bread. So you've got Burnt Bagels and Baron Bread fighting it out down in Div 2, which is a very exciting time for me as I just enjoy that. And we'll see how things go from there on out. We will be kicking off matches tonight. I believe we will be streaming. Someone tell me what the stream schedule is. Are we starting with a Div 2 match and then heading on into Div 1? Perfect. Which so final questions then. Epos, did you have anything else to add? Any players that you're particularly impressed by that we haven't already touched on? Any players that you're disappointed to see missing out on Div 1?
I mean, sure, there's a couple people that could have made Div 1, but they just missed the mark. But I'm excited for the battle for the top of Div 2, to be honest, because I mean, I know that OC, Killian, Causes, Hendo22__ or Rebel. I feel like that's going to be a pretty close fight for the top 4. So I think Div 2 is going to be better than people expect, for sure.
That's completely fair. Orion, similar questions, similar thoughts?
Yeah, kind of just echoing what Epos says, really. Like, maybe we didn't have as many signups as we would have liked, but I think the top of Div 2 is still going to be highly competitive. But Div 1 is stacked once again this season. Maybe missing a certain player whose name has 4 letters in it, starting with E and ending with POS.
Don't separate out the POS. That has its own separate meaning. You don't want to do that.
But yeah, apart from that, Div 1 stacked. Really looking forward to casting that. And the first match, like you said, what is it? Wizzy, Jaffa, Josh, and
Leo?
The Jaffa Padawan.
Yeah, that match is going to be an absolute blinder to kick us off.
Wizzy, Josh, Niruko, and Jaffa Padawan is
still equally stacked.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's such a good match.
It's crazy. We will be going to a quick break for a while. We are going to be showing 2 matches this evening, starting with Division 2, heading up into Division 1. Who knows what they're going to be? Who knows when we're going to start it? Of course, things are working quickly behind the scenes to get everything up and ready as players adjust to their new roles in life, their new seeding order, and who they do have to play this evening. So we are going to head to break. We will be back. BIPL is not done for week 1. We look forward to seeing you back here shortly as we kick things off in matches.